Dear students, welcome to Tungala online classes. In today's class, let us start with the chapter of current electricity. Okay. In both the previous chapters, we have considered the charges to be in the state of rest. But in this chapter, the charges we are considering they are in motion. So current electricity, it is a branch of physics that deals with study of electric charges in the state of motion and their effects and phenomena related to charges which are in motion. Okay. First, let us look at basic definition of electric current. Okay. Actually, whenever I hold some metal piece in my hand, I don't feel any electric current. Okay. But whenever there is some external source connected to this metal piece, there is flow of electric current that we can measure. Yes. Based on the property of electrical conductivity, we have basically conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Yes, as we know, conductors have very large number of free electrons. They act as charge carriers. But in insulators, they don't have any free electrons. So, insulators cannot conduct any electrical current. Yes, and semiconductors, on the other part, they conduct electrical current only under specific conditions. Yes. So, all these details we shall learn in depth in the chapter of semiconductors. As of now, let us understand the conductors have very large number of free electrons. So, they are very good conductors of electrical current. Okay. So, whenever I consider a metal piece like this, let us consider a cylindrical rod of metal. As we know, even though it has very large number of free electrons, because of the temperature in the atmosphere, that we call it as a thermal agitation. Because of the thermal agitations, all these free electrons may be moving inside that conductor, but the motion of these electrons is not regular. Okay, they are completely free to move in any random directions. So because of the random motion of all these electrons in all possible directions, the net motion is considered to be zero. That is, the net velocity of these electrons, the effective motion, the net velocity of these electrons is considered to be zero. Hence, the electric current, when the conductor is not connected to any potential difference, external source, that electrical current is considered to be zero. Okay, the net velocity of all these electrons is equal to 0. Hence, we consider the electrical current is also equal to 0. If the same conductor is connected to external battery like this. Okay, so let us consider the potential difference is V here. That is, voltage of the battery is V. This battery will provide required potential difference across ends of the conductor. Okay. When this battery is connected to the supply voltage here, these electrons start moving in a same direction. These electrons start moving towards a positive terminal of the supply. Okay. So, this is practical movement of the electrons. Electrons actually move towards a positive terminal of the supply. But conventionally, the direction of electric current is taken in opposite direction of electric current. Okay. So, the reason for that we shall discuss later. This is the direction of conventional direction of electric current, but the actual direction of the flow of electric charges will be in the opposite direction of conventional direction of the electric current. The direction of conventional current, that is in the direction of electric field. So, here this is positive charge, here this is a negative charge. Okay. So, if these are the charges like this, the direction of electric field is along positive x-axis in this case. Okay. The direction of conventional current is along the direction of electric field, but practically the electrons or actual flow of electric charges, that is electrons, will be in the opposite direction of electric field. But why did we consider this as the direction of electric current? Because all the theories, initially what happened, the direction of electric current was assumed to be the direction in which a positive charge flows. Actually, positive charge flows in the direction of electric field, but later it was concluded that the electric current in the conductors, in the metals, is because of flow of, especially in solids, it is because of flow of electrons. okay, and electrons are moving in opposite direction of the electric field. But by that time almost all the theory was developed considering the direction of electric current is along the direction of electric field. So not to disturb that all thing, we are considering the conventional direct in the conventional current in the same direction of electric field, okay. And the electric current is, it is the rate of flow of these electrons, it is the rate of flow of these electrons in case of conductors, or it is the rate of flow of electric charges through the given cross sectional area, okay. Simply I can write it as I is equal to Q divided by T. It is the ratio of magnitude of the charge flowing through the given surface area in a given time, okay, Q divided by T. But the flow of electric current, electric charges may not be uniform. So what we do here, we consider very short duration of time, okay. So in that short duration of time, the charge flowing through that will also be very small. So mathematically we define electric current as, it is the ratio of delta Q and delta T as the limit of delta T tends to 0. What we are doing here, I am applying the limit of delta T tends to 0. What is meaning of that? I am taking very short duration of time, okay, almost that is equal to 0. So whatever possible short duration of time is there, that I am considering. In that short duration of time, the magnitude of the charge flowing, that I consider it as a delta Q, okay. So by the definition of differential, I can write it as I is equal to what? dq divided by dt, okay. So this is the magnitude of electric current, or this is the definition of electric current, okay. And what is the unit of this? The unit of this is I is equal to, what is the unit of charge? That is coulomb divided by second, okay. We have separate unit for electric current, so that is the unit of electric current is ampere, okay. So this is the unit of electric current, okay. And the current, electric current through any conductor is said to be 1 ampere. When do we say the electric current is equal to 1 ampere? Look at this equation here. If dq is equal to what? If dq is equal to 1 coulomb and dt is equal to what? 1 second, right? So then automatically I will be equal to what? I will be equal to 1 ampere. So the electric current through any conductor is said to be 1 ampere if 1 coulomb charge passes through the cross sectional area of the conductor in 1 second time, okay. In such condition, the magnitude of the electric current is said to be 1 ampere. Yes. Ohm's law states that whatever electric current is flowing through this conductor, the cross sectional area of the conductor, it is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across the ends of the conductor. Yes. So obviously, when the potential difference is more, there is more force acting on the electrons, hence electrons move fast. Yes. So that is the definition of Ohm's law. Ohm's law states that the electric current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across ends of the conductor at constant temperature. Yes. Ohm's law is valid only at a constant temperature. Ultimately, you can write it as V is directly proportional to I, or I can write V is equal to what? R into I. Yes, V is equal to R into I, where R is called resistance of this conductor. Okay, even though the conductors allow free flow of electrons, there will be some resistance offered by the conductors for the flow of these free electrons. This property of the conductor to oppose the flow of electrons through it is called resistance of the conductor. Yes, so this is the definition of Ohm's law. Electric resistance is one of very important properties of any material. Yes, whatever may be the material, it may be conductor, it may be insulator or semiconductor, every material offers some resistance for the electric charges to flow through it. Okay, so even though we consider conductors, it will be having very large number of free electrons, but also there will be some resistance for the flow of these free electrons. Okay, that resistance offered by the material for the flow of electric charges or the electrons through it is called electric resistance, or simply we term it as a resistance. Okay, by Ohm's law we have defined the equation V is equal to R into R. I can write R is equal to V divided by R. Okay, so this is the mathematical expression for electric resistance of any material. Yes, and the SI unit of this resistance is ohm, or symbolically we write it like this. Okay, electric resistance is measured in terms of ohms. They ask to define 1 ohm electric resistance. By this definition, we can define 1 ohm resistance as, look at this, in this case, if potential difference is equal to 1 ohm and electric current is equal to 1 ampere, then automatically R will be equal to what? R will be equal to 1 ohm. Yes, the electric resistance of any material is said to be 1 ohm if 1 ampere current flows through the cross-sectional area of the conductor or material when 1 volt potential difference is applied across the conductor. Yes, the resistance of any conductor is said to be 1 ohm when 1 ampere current flows through the conductor, when 1 volt potential difference is applied across the terminals of the conductor. This is definition of electric resistance. Next, let us discuss one of very important properties of the materials, that is resistivity. It is also called specific resistance. Okay, for that let us understand what are the factors which affect the electric resistance of the material. Yes, for that let me consider a conductor like this, yes, which is connected to the external source of voltage. Let that potential difference is equal to what? V. Okay, and we know the electrons, they start moving in this direction as long as there is constant potential difference across the ends of the conductor. Okay, and by Ohm's law I can write V is equal to what? R into I, or I can write R is equal to what? V divided by I, and directly I can write R is inversely proportional to I. Okay, if the current is more, resistance is less. If the current is less, the resistance will be more. Okay, now let us consider the length of this conductor. If the length of the conductor is L and the cross sectional area of this conductor is A. Yes, what happens for the constant voltage? Let us consider the supply voltage is same. If I increase the length of the conductor, these electrons have to travel more distance. Okay, the energy is constant, but the electrons have to travel more distance here. So in that condition, the rate of flow of electrons will reduce. Okay, and hence the electric current also reduces, because the electric current is, by definition, it is the rate of flow of electric charges, that is electrons in this case. Okay, when the length is increased, the electric current will reduce. Okay, the electrons may travel at lower speeds. Okay, so when current is reduced, automatically it indicates the resistance will be more. Both are inversely proportional to each other. Hence, as the length increases, the resistance also increases. Similarly, if the length is reduced, having constant potential difference, the electrons can move fast, because the distance which has to be traveled by the electrons will be less. They will travel very fast. Hence, when the length decreases, when the length of the conductor decreases, the current increases. When the current increases, it indicates the resistance of that conductor will be less. So by this I can consider, if the length increases, the resistance also, if the length decreases, the resistance also decreases. So by both these cases I can write the resistance of the material will be directly proportional to length of the material. The resistance of conductor is directly proportional to length of the conductor. Let this be equation number 1. Okay, and what is the effect of the cross sectional area on the electric current through the conductor? See here, using the same battery here, that is, if the potential difference across the ends of the conductor is maintained constant, and if the cross sectional area of the conductor is increased, that if I use thicker wire, if I use thicker wire, the flow of current will be very easy, because when the cross sectional area is increased, the electrons can easily pass through the conductor. Hence, when the area is increased, the electric current also increases, because when the thickness of the conductor increases, the electrons will have more cross sectional area to flow through. Hence, when the area increases, the electric current through the conductor also increases. Hence, when electric current is more, definitely your resistance will be less. Okay, it is actually the resistance offered by the material for the flow of electrons. When electrons are easily moving, when the electric current is more, definitely we should understand at that point of time the resistance offered by the material will be less, and this resistance offered by the material will be less when the cross sectional area is more. Similarly, when the area is decreased, if I use thinner wire, in that condition the flow of current also reduces. When the flow of current reduces, we should understand that the resistance of the material will be more. Okay, so in this case I can write it as the resistance of the material is inversely proportional to the cross sectional area of the material. So I can write it as equation number 2. By combining equations 1 and 2, I can write R is directly proportional to L and inversely proportional to cross sectional area. So this I can write it as R is equal to rho into L divided by E. Okay, this rho is called specific resistance of the given material, or it is also called resistivity of the given material. Okay, so that is actually material property that does not depend on the dimensions of the material. Yes, and what is the unit of this rho? So rho I can write it as what? Rho is equal to R into A divided by L. Yes, the unit of this will be equal to what? Ohm meter square divided by meter. So the unit of this rho is equal to what? Ohm meter. Okay, the unit of this specific resistance is equal to ohm meter. And if they ask to define what is specific resistance, so see here we have the equation R is equal to what? R is equal to rho into L divided by A. I can write rho is equal to RA divided by L. Rho is equal to what? R into A divided by L. In this case, I can easily define, see here, if the cross sectional area of the material is equal to 1 meter square or 1 unit, and length of the material is equal to what? 1 meter. Substitute the values of A is equal to 1, L is equal to 1. Directly I can write rho is equal to what? R. Okay. So I can define the specific resistance of any material as the resistance of that material. It is the resistance of that material when its cross sectional area is 1 meter square and its length is equal to what? 1 meter. Okay. So the specific resistance or resistivity of any material, it is resistance of that material, it is electric resistance of that material when the cross sectional area of the material is 1 meter square and the length of the material is 1 meter. By using this equation, I can define what is the specific resistance and or resistivity of the given material. Okay. So this is about resistivity or specific resistance of the material. The electronic components or the devices are basically, they can be categorized as ohmic devices and non-ohmic devices. Yes, as the name suggests, the devices which follow the Ohm's law. Yes, so those devices are called ohmic devices, and there are some devices which do not follow the Ohm's law, that those are called non-ohmic devices. Okay, see here, if I consider some metallic conductor like this, if the voltage of V is applied, when the key is closed, there is flow of electric current. Okay, by the definition of Ohm's law, I can write V is equal to what? R into I. V is directly proportional to I. Yes, if I plot the graph of voltage versus electric current, V I can plot it along positive x-axis, I can draw it along positive y-axis. According to this Ohm's law, I should get a straight line. Okay, and the slope of straight line will be equal to resistance of that material. Okay, that depends on what is the value of R. In this condition, if I get a straight line with all the values of the voltages as well as the currents for corresponding value of voltage, if this graph is straight line, the device which produces this straight line for this relation, those devices we call them as ohmic devices. The examples for ohmic devices are the metallic conductors, the voltmeter, ammeter, all these are some of examples for ohmic devices. And for non-ohmic devices, the best example is semiconductor diodes. Okay, if you remember, if I plot in forward direction, the graph nature, it is something like this. Okay, when it is forward biased, this is the voltage here, so this is the current. Okay, current will be in the terms of milliamperes. Here I have some voltage. Okay, and in the reverse bias, it will be something like this. Suddenly there will be breakdown. When I observe the nature of this curve for semiconductor diode, in forward bias the graph is something different. In reverse bias, the behavior is something different, and they are non-linear curves here. Okay, so these devices, most of semiconductor devices are non-ohmic devices. Okay, such as semiconductor diode, thermistor. So these are some of examples for non-ohmic devices. Yes, and this Ohm's law is valid only at constant temperature. Okay, if the temperature increases, the metals, the conductors also, they do not follow this Ohm's law. At higher temperatures, Ohm's law is not valid. Next, we shall derive the expression for drift velocity, which is regularly asked question for 3 marks. Okay, for this, let us consider a conductor which is connected across a battery. Let V is the potential difference across ends of the conductor, and the electrons are drifted towards the positive terminal of the supply, and the conventional direction of electric current is in the opposite direction of electric field. Electric field is shown in this direction. Okay, so initially when the key was opened, we don't have any electrical current. All these electrons will be moving in random directions. As soon as the key is closed, the electrons start drifting towards the positive terminal. The velocity with which these electrons drift towards the positive terminal of the supply is called drift velocity. Okay, and we have to derive the expression for that drift velocity. Okay, by the kinematic equation, we have, let us consider the drift velocity is denoted by Vd. Vd is equal to u plus a into tau. Here, the time I am considering it as a relaxation time. Relaxation time, it is the time gap between the successive collision of an electron with neighboring electrons or atoms. Okay, so whenever electrons are moving in this conductor, there will be collision between the electrons. The time gap between two successive collisions, we can consider it as a relaxation time, that is denoted by tau. Okay, and we can write the expression for drift velocity as Vd is equal to u plus a into tau. When the key is open, the initial velocity is equal to 0. Hence, I can write Vd is equal to what? A into tau. Okay, or from this I can write it as A is equal to what? Vd divided by tau. Then, whenever electrons are moving in the opposite direction of this electric field, these electrons which are having charge of E, they experience some force because of this electric field. So, the force experienced by each electron because of this external electric field, that force I can write it as F is equal to minus of E into E. Okay, because we know the definition of electric field. Electric field is equal to what? Force divided by charge. Okay, by this I can write F is equal to electric field into charge. But why I am writing minus here? Because electric field is along positive x direction, the force acting on the electrons will be in the opposite direction. Electrons are negatively charged, so I am writing it as a minus of E into E. Okay, then we also know electrons have some mass. Okay, let that mass of electron is denoted by m. So whenever any object is moving because of the external force. By the Newton's law, I can write the force acting on this mass of electron, that is equal to what? M into E. Okay, so this is also the same force. When I am considering electric concept here, I can write it as F is equal to minus of E into E. When I consider the mechanics, the same force can also be written as F is equal to M into E. Actually, these two forces are unique. That is actually only one force. Okay, so what I will do, I will replace this A by this first equation. I can write it as F is equal to what? F is equal to M into Vd divided by tau. Okay, and this F I can write it as minus of E into E is equal to what? M into Vd divided by tau. So from this I can write drift velocity is equal to what? Vd is equal to minus of E tau divided by M. Okay, this is the expression for drift velocity. The negative sign just indicates the electrons experience the force in the opposite direction of electric field, or the velocity, the direction of the velocity is in the opposite direction of electric field. Magnitude of drift velocity, I can simply write it as E tau divided by M. Okay, remember this equation. This derivation is regularly asked for free marks. Next, let us derive the relation between the electric current and drift velocity. Okay, for that let me consider a conductor of length L. Let capital A is the cross sectional area of the conductor, and let this conductor is connected across the voltage of V, so that the potential difference across the ends of the conductor is also V here. Okay, let us consider N is the total number of electrons passing through the surface area in given time, in time t. Okay, so if total number of electrons passing through this cross sectional area, given cross sectional area is capital N in given time of t, and small n, let us consider it is electron density, that is number of electrons per unit volume of this conductor. So if it is so, the total number of electrons is equal to what? Capital N divided by volume. Okay, so the total number of electrons I can write it as capital N is equal to what? Small n into volume, where small n is the electron density of this conductor flowing through the given cross sectional area. Okay, so by this I can write capital N is equal to what? Capital N is equal to small n into volume of this conductor is equal to what? Cross sectional area into L. Okay, so the total number of electrons passing through the cross sectional area in given time is given by small n into capital A into L. Okay, and the magnitude of the charge passing through this cross sectional area because of these many number of electrons, that is given by Q is equal to what is the total number of electrons? That is capital N, and what is magnitude of one electron? That is nothing but E. Okay, so this is the total charge passing through this cross sectional area because of flow of n number of electrons. Okay, so this I can write it as Q is equal to small n into A into L into E. Okay, let this be equation number 1. Yes, and by the definition of drift velocity, we have drift velocity is equal to what? If the electron passes from one end to another end, that is the length, distance traveled is equal to L, and the time taken by that is equal to what? L divided by T. I can write this L is equal to what? L is equal to Vd into T. Okay, I can write this as L is equal to Vd into T, and I will replace this L by this equation. I can write Q is equal to Na into Vd into T into E. Okay, let us be equation number 2. Yes, and by the definition of electric current, I have I is equal to what? Q divided by T, and replace this Q by equation number 2. I can write it as Na Vd T into E divided by T here. Okay, so I can write I is equal to this T get cancelled here. I will have NEA Vd. Yes, this is the relation between electric current and drift velocity. where n is the electron density and E is magnitude of electron, charge of electron, capital E is cross sectional area of the conductor, and Vd is a drift velocity of the conductor. We have another property, that is mobility of free electrons. Yes. So let us consider the conductor which is connected to the external battery to provide the potential difference of V across the ends of the conductor. So whenever the key is closed, the electrons start drifting towards the positive supply here. Okay, and we say these electrons have gained the drift velocity. Yes, because of this voltage V, there is some electric field developed in the conductor. What is the magnitude of the drift velocity per unit electric field applied? That ratio we call it as a mobility. That is, mobility is the magnitude of the drift velocity. It is the magnitude of the drift velocity per unit electric field applied. Okay. Next we shall derive the relation between current density and conductivity or specific conductance. Before that, the current density is the ratio of electric current and the cross sectional area of the conductor. If the electric current flowing through the conductor is capital I and the cross sectional area is capital A, we can define the current density denoted by capital J as the ratio of electric current and the cross sectional area of the conductor. It is the electric current flowing through unit cross sectional area of the conductor, and the unit of this is what? It is ampere per meter square. Okay, and the conductivity, it is the inverse of resistivity. It is denoted by sigma. Sigma is equal to 1 divided by rho. Okay, and what is the expression for sigma here? We know R is equal to rho L divided by A. Rho is equal to RA divided by L. Sigma will be equal to what? L divided by RA. And the unit of this sigma is equal to what? Per ohm per meter, because the unit of resistivity is ohm meter. Hence the unit of conductivity or specific conductance will be equal to what? Per ohm per meter. Okay, this is basic meaning of current density and conductivity. Okay, by Ohm's law we can write V is equal to what? V is equal to R into I, or I can write I is equal to what? V divided by R. And we know the relation between resistance and resistivity as R is equal to rho L divided by A. So I will substitute it here. I can write I is equal to V divided by rho L divided by A. This A I take it to the numerator. I can write it as V into A divided by rho into L. Okay, this again I can write it as I is equal to what? 1 divided by rho into V A divided by L. Okay. Let us take this area to the left side. I can write I divided by A. I divided by A is nothing but current density. I can write it as 1 by rho inside bracket V divided by L. So LHS is what? I divided by A, that is the current density is equal to. Then we have, it is 1 by rho. 1 by rho is nothing but conductivity, that is nothing but sigma. And V by L, we have the relation between electric potential and electric field. V by L is nothing but capital E, that is the electric field. So this is the relation between the current density and conductivity of the material, that is J is equal to sigma into capital E, that is the magnitude of electric field. Next we shall derive the expression for conductivity, or sometimes they may also ask resistivity, in terms of tau, that is relaxation time. Okay, just now we have derived the equation, that is, let us consider a conductor connected to the external supply voltage of V here. Yes, and let the drift velocity of these electrons, let it be given by Vd, and the relaxation time of these electrons, let it be tau here. Okay, and the current flowing through the conductor, that is given by capital I. and the current density is equal to what? J is equal to I divided by A, that is the current density of this conductor, and sigma is the conductivity of the conductor. Okay, just now we have derived the relation, that is J is equal to, the relation between the current density and the conductivity is given by J is equal to sigma into E, where E is the electric field through the conductor because of external potential difference. Okay, so we have sigma J is equal to sigma into E. From this equation I can write sigma is equal to J divided by E. Okay, and by the definition J is equal to what? Current divided by area of cross sectional area of the conductor. So this is the cross sectional area of the conductor. So I can replace this J by I divided by A. So I can write it as I divided by A into E. Okay, and we also know the expression for electric current in terms of drift velocity, I is equal to what? NEA VD. Okay, by using this relation I can write sigma is equal to NEA VD divided by capital A into capital E. Okay, these two terms get cancelled here. I can write sigma is equal to NEVD divided by capital E, and I can write the magnitude of the drift velocity is given by NE. I have VD is equal to what? E tau divided by M. Let us neglect the direction there. So simply I write the magnitude NE into, I write E tau divided by M, that is the expression for drift velocity. Here I have capital E here. Okay, so this E get cancelled here. I can write sigma is equal to NE square tau divided by M. This is the expression for conductivity in terms of relaxation time. Okay, here N is the current density, N is the electron density, the number of electron per unit volume of the conductor, E is magnitude of the electron, tau is relaxation time, and M is mass of the electron. And we know the resistivity is it is inverse of conductivity. So I can write rho is equal to M divided by N E square tau. Okay, derive the expression according to the question asked. If they ask for conductivity, write until this expression. If they ask for resistivity, write up to this step here. Okay, sometimes this question is asked for 5 marks. Draw the figure, explain it neatly, and derive the expression.